Asta has done it, ladies and gentlemen. Alongside his best friend and rival Yuno, they have defeated the biggest threat to the entire Black Clover world, Lucius Zogratis. Or have they? Tabata has laid down multiple hints throughout chapter 377 and 378 that suggest this war is only getting started. In spite of this, it's Adremelech that kicks things off, surprised that everybody has defeated the Archangel Paladins. Now remember, he knew Yuno was crazy busted because he saw it with his own eyes in chapter 366, but now he knows that the entire Black Balls are as well, and it's all thanks to the Asta effect, because they have all slain their respective Lucius clones, meaning this squad is easily the strongest Magic Knights squad to have ever existed in the history of the entire Black Clover universe. Nothing comes close to these guys anymore, alright? Get your Golden Dawn, Crimson Lion smoking ass out of here, alright? This is a Black Bull Believer fan channel from day one. None of that fraud shit, alright? Actually, talking of frauds, Adremelech's out here wondering how much of this Lucius already foresaw with his future sight powers. The way it's worded would make you think he actually saw all of it, but I'm here to tell you that isn't the case. Listen, Lucius's time magic is one thing, alright? It's cute, I get it, but it's no balls deep prediction magic. I'm telling you that this bozo is gonna be dealt L of the century by everyone around him, including Adremelech. Because whilst you can interpret these words of him saying that all is left is Asta and Yuno versus Lucius because that's how Lucius saw it and is expecting it, that's wrong. Remember, there is one future Lucius cannot see, the one belonging to Asta. He is an anomaly in the Black Clover world. From the moment he was born without magic, Asta defied the very foundations of what should have been possible. Lucius's time magic relies on the predictable flow of events shaped by magic, thus finds himself unable to account for Asta's existence. This is what makes him the flaw in Lucius's otherwise perfect vision of the world. It's how the likes of Merileona, Fraudgelion, Yuno Noelle, basically anyone who's reached this far into the story and got this strong. Every dub claimed on the battlefield in this war is because Asta exists, once again including Adremelech. Because you see, if he was truly on Lucius's side, he would have killed Asta on the spot against Lucifero. The most plausible explanation as to why he didn't is that Tabata is cooking something tasty. We're talking full Michelin star writing here, guys. In fact, it's almost as tasty as Gamer Subs. Alright, listen, you know by now, I love these guys. They're longtime partners of the channel, so remember to use code ABD or just click our link below to enjoy your very own shonen power-up, baby! Because you're gonna need it for what happens next in Black Clover, as Adremelech clearly has his own secret plan in motion. Both historical and mythological interpretations of Adremelech paint him as an incredibly cunning and malicious entity, even surpassing Satan in deception. In Klopstock's Demesius, Adremelech is depicted as working alongside Satan to overthrow God, not to further Satan's own goals, but to ultimately seize power for himself. He manipulated those above him, using them as stepping stones to rise through the ranks of the demonic hierarchy. This characterization aligns with the version of Adremelech we see in Black Clover. For example, why is he given special exemption from being turned into a paladin? I mean, Lucius used every single other devil but him. Why? Well, it's because he used the other devils like Lucifero as a stepping stone to reach his position as Lucius's right-hand man. But like in the legends, it's also that he can take Lucius's hard work for himself. However, because of the time magic, he needs Asta to be the one to deal the killer blow, as Lucius would otherwise be able to read Adremelech's future. I mean, it's clear that Adremelech is strong. Even after seeing everyone on the battlefield bully Lucius's clones like it's nobody's business, he doesn't seem arsed. If anything, bro just finds all this interesting. Like back in chapter 329 when he gave Asta and Yuno a round of applause for killing Lucifero. That's why he's so comfortable about them going in to fight Lucius now, as they're even stronger than back then. Nonetheless, Yuno's most broken spell, Neverland, has hit its limit. But that is no problem, as Asta came with the good stuff. Magic recovery food from Ms. Charmy, meaning they're both heading into this do or die fight at the peak of their power. They essentially used all their potions before heading into the big final boss fight. But of course, no boss battle is complete without a yap session beforehand.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Bro's yammering away about his perfect world and how blah 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 blah. Thankfully, Asta hits him with straight up facts and calls it how it is. Lucius is a fraud. He claims that his paladins are truly happy, yet when Sister Lily snapped out of it, she was full of sadness and regret for what she had done. However, the way Lucius looks at it is a little bit different. For the brief time Sister Lily spent as a paladin, she was happy. It wasn't until Asta got involved and put her back to normal that she was sad. Asta is effectively the one stopping these people from reaching a state of eternal happiness. And so, who do you agree with, Asta or Lucius? The answer's obvious, but I know there's going to be at least one of you guys in the comments, so...
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
Just remember that Lucius is a false prophet who claims that he's doing good, but is really just controlling and destroying people for his own twisted goals. He acts like a god, saying that he wants to save humanity by making everyone equal and immortal, but his idea of saving means killing everyone and turning them into undying bodies, taking away their freedom and individuality, and that, my friend, is not saving, it's controlling, you dummy. Lucius uses religious imagery to make himself look holy, like sitting on a throne with 3 crosses and creating paladins that seem like angels. But it's all just a trick to make people think that he's a divine figure. In reality, he's just a manipulative liar. His peaceful world is just a place where he has total power over everyone. And so, once again, Asta rightfully calls him out on his BS, stating that Lucius isn't a god, he's just a magic loser. A self-righteous bastard, as Yuno says. Nonetheless, Lucius has finished his yapping after learning it's all pointless anyway. These are 2 shonen MCs he's talking to here after all. And so it's time to begin the main event, as Lucius reveals his brand new trick. Bro is aura farming to the nth degree. And so he kicks things off with a massive Kamehameha, but that ain't shit to Asta and Yuno. Luckily, Lucius has unlocked new powers courtesy of his siblings, because even whilst distracted landing a punch on Asta, he's able to react to Yuno from behind without even moving. Bro straight up used Zenon's bone magic to turn his entire spine into a whip-like weapon. It's even around 10 times larger than a spine should be, capable of blocking Yuno's attack. Furthermore, he combined body magic with blood and bone to create condensed bullets made of bone powered by a concentrated jet of blood. And let me tell you, these bullets are strong. Strong enough to pierce through Yuno's Spirit of Notos spell, a shield that was able to block Lucius's spells before this in chapter 360. In fact, both these bullets and the spinal cord attack are examples of Lucius learning how to deal with Yuno. Before this, he had to turn around and react to Yuno by blocking the sword with his bare hand, but he no longer has to and can even fight Asta simultaneously. That is how much stronger he has become. However, with the power of wind and star magic wielded by a man with unlimited potential, loved by mana, and a man totally unloved by it, Asta and Yuno are able to come together and fight side by side unlike anything Lucius has ever seen before. And it all ties back to the biggest battle between these two, the one that the entire story has built up towards, which is vital for you to understand. Asta and Yuno versus Lucius is a fight over the very nature of humanity and what it means to live freely. Lucius sees the world as fundamentally broken. To him, humanity's flaws, inequality, mortality, and conflict are weaknesses that need to be eliminated in order to grow further. Hence why he wants to destroy the world and rebuild it into a utopia where everyone is immortal, equal, and free from suffering. But as I said, in his vision of the perfect world, people are no longer themselves, but are simply pawns in a world where he alone dictates the rules. Essentially, for him, control is his key to peace. But to oppose this are Asta and Yuno, whose beliefs couldn't be more different. Asta represents freedom and individuality. Born without magic in a world where magic is everything, he has faced discrimination and ridicule his entire life. But instead of succumbing to despair, he worked hard to surpass his limits, proving that effort and determination can overcome anything. It's these little imperfections, humanity's flaws, struggles, and ability to decide their own fate that make life special. Yuno, on the other hand, was born with incredible talent and a powerful lineage. Whereas the world rejected Asta, it embraced Yuno. Yet he doesn't doesn't rely on his natural gifts. Yuno works just as hard as Asta, showcasing that strength and fairness can coexist. His existence helps blur the lines between the higher and lower class people, helping build the world they envision. This is what fuels their desire to take Lucius's title as the ultimate wizard king, so that they can create a world where effort and merit matter more than birthright or privilege. This determination is how they're able to surpass what the other has imagined and reach levels of strength that would otherwise be impossible. In fact, Asta and Yuno's rivalry to be the one that creates this new, perfect and truly equal world has helped them unlock a shonen power scaling term thought to be impossible. They have surpassed what it means to surpass your limits. They're out here surpassing prophecies. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why they are the goddamn shonen rivalry goats. It's in that moment Asta showcases why his training in the Hino country was so important, as he lands a clean strike with Zenon, catching Lucius totally off guard. Remember, Asta learned Zenon because it was the next step he needed to overcome Lucius in the first place. In chapter 340, whilst training with Ichika, Ryu explained how even she had a hard time hitting Asta with his anti-magic whilst he was concentrating. But every once in a while, an opponent's attention always lapses, which goes for Lucius too. It's during that opening that Asta was taught that he has to land his biggest attack, and that is exactly what he does. When Lucius goes in for a punch, he channels everything he's learned. You see, hand-to-hand combat was always Asta's weak point, something Lucius figured out during their initial battle in chapter 334. However, Asta also picked up how good Lucius was with his fist as well, which has now come full circle to this moment. He knew Lucius would go for a physical attack, as that is all that works in anti-magic, thus Asta waited for the moment he would throw a punch to land his Zenon-powered slash and catch him off guard. This allows Asta to focus his anti-magic into a single precise point using ki, maximizing his power and timing, capable of cutting through magic at its core. When Asta finally let go of his doubts and solidified his resolve, his Zenon became unstoppable. As with it, Asta doesn't just nullify spells, he dismantles the very essence of magic, as seen when he effortlessly defeated Sister Lily, who was infused with Beelzebub's paladin power. He also decapitated the legendary 5-headed dragon that had terrorized the Hino country for generations, splitting the sky in the process, the same way the original founder of Zenon himself once did. But just to be extra safe, Yuno of course has to land a Saint Spirit of Boreas blow as well. And so surely that's a wrap, right? Even Belle believes so and calls off the Neverland spell. But let's be honest for a moment, that was a bad call, as this battle is only getting started.
Job's not finished.
And we know this for a multitude of reasons. Remember, we learn in chapter 370 that Lucius's next step of his plan was to activate a huge spell in the sky across the entire Clover Kingdom. This spell took the shape of a tree which is now finished growing, as we can see. Then in chapter 377 we can see that the Dark Triad's bodies have almost finished growing back. When we compare it to earlier in the battle, the cracks in Dante's body have cleared up, whilst the hole in Zenon's heart has also grown back. As for Vanica, well, she's got her own set of circumstances going on. I mean, she was cursed after all, so we'll see what happens with her. But nonetheless, the bottom line is this. We see 4 heartbeats at the end of the chapter. One, of course, belongs to Lucius, but the other 3 to his siblings. Those with a notification bell on will know that we predicted this years ago. But of course, as seems to be the case with Lucius a lot in this video, his own siblings will also betray him. After all, he never really cared for them as family. He manipulated them, exploiting their deepest insecurities to use them as pawns in his grand plan to remake humanity, just like he did with everyone else. But like Sister Lily, they will have come to their senses after what happened to them. Take Zenon, for example. His backstory revealed his guilt and heartbreak over losing his best friend Alan, a death that Lucius himself facilitated. He then used that grief to convince Zenon that strength was the only way to protect what mattered. But when Zenon faced Yuno, he was reminded of what he'd lost. An unbreakable bond of friendship and the belief in a better path. All because Yuno's dreams paralleled Alan's. Vanica, on the other hand, was all about chaos, but her fight with Noelle taught her love. Then there's Dante, whose obsession with power and destruction was used against him by Lucius. During his fight with Asta and Magna, Dante was forced to confront the idea that true strength actually came from the heart. Lucius promised his siblings a perfect world, but it was Asta Asta, Noelle, and Yuno who showed them it. Now, if you want to enjoy some more peak fiction while we unfortunately have to wait months for the next chapter of Black Clover, then make sure you click this video on your screen right now.